Dave Gettleman talked about, fixing the offensive line once and for all was the way he put it, and certainly addressed that in the draft as well. What do you think right now of where they are with that offensive line?
Well, I think everything looks good right now, but when the rubber meets the road, when you see how good these young players that they bring in are, that's when you really, 2 years from now, how many of these draft picks are starters? How many of these draft picks are contributors? Yeah, it looks great on paper now, and I'm excited just like everybody else, every other Giant fan out there, but you got to, temper your excitement and just really realize that all these guys, at one point, everybody was excited about Eric Flowers. So, you can't get too excited over these draft picks just yet. You got to see him at least throughout minicamp, through some practice game, through some preseason games, because we don't know what we got. It looks good. They were good in college. How is that going to translate over into the pros?
So, Amani, the Giants, with the emphasis, at least early in their draft, with the offensive line, they have Darius Slayton talking about guys and draft picks and not knowing how they're going to end up playing. He had an excellent rookie year with 48 receptions, 8 touchdowns. Does Daniel Jones have enough weapons? They have Jones, they have Saquon Barkley, but do they have enough weapons, you think, going forward for next year?
I think they do. I'm really excited about Slayton. I think that, Golden Tate, if they bring him back, I don't know his status, right? But, he's a good calming factor. I think, the tight end's getting healthy. Ingram's getting healthy. There's enough talent on that team for them to win more than, the games that they won, more than 4 games and they won last year. So I think anything is a step in the right direction. I really like the fact that, they're putting all their eggs behind Daniel Jones, which is a risk as well. He had some problems that get a lot of other, in terms of fumbling the football, that gets quarterbacks out of the league. So it's not like he's a finished product, but I think that, with the confidence that everybody has behind him and anticipating his work ethic and that he's going to overcome these problems, I think it could be good. But, that's a fatal flaw. It's like a running back that fumbles, a quarterback that doesn't have doesn't have ball security in the pocket. It could be one of these things that could, if he doesn't fix it, it could shorten his career.
New head coach, Joe Judge, your impressions so far?
I played for a lot of head coaches, and he reminds me of the best head coach I've ever had. He reminds me a lot of Tom Coughlin, just in the way he approaches it, in the way he's kind of a no-nonsense guy. He doesn't seem like he is, trying to be a star like I had a coach, Coach Fossil, who was, first year he had glasses, next, and then he was, was a real football guy, kind of looked kind of dorky, had some success, went to the playoffs. The next year he has LASIK surgery. He's on GQ magazine. He's friends with all these. That's a recipe for disaster for a coach of the NFL to be impressed. Not in the NFL, to be a coach in New York and be impressed with New York City. You have to love the game. You have to be tireless in uncovering problems like Coach Coughlin was. And to me, when I listen to his press conference, when I talk to him all the times that I've talked to him and when I've interacted with him, it's always been about football and it's been about changing the culture. And I think that's one of the big jobs that he has to do. And I'm really excited to see what he can do. And them bringing back Jason Garrett, a teammate of mine, to do the offense. I'm really excited about that as well.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on that with Jason Garrett. He was a teammate of yours, and he had success with that offense in Dallas as the head coach. They were always among the top offenses. They have a lot of skill there, obviously. But what do you think of him coming in? He does have that head coaching experience, but most importantly, I think he knows the division.
He knows the division, and he has head coaching experience. The head coaching experience is going to help Judge. Judge has never been a head coach. So I think, the failures and the successes that he's had down in Dallas are going to help Judge as a new head coach. And also, when you look at what Jason Garrett has done, he was the hot offensive coordinator, when he was in Dallas, when he was in Miami. This is a guy that knows offenses. I always remember him. We were always in meetings. Half the guys were falling asleep, and Jason Garrett would be drawing up plays. Hey, Monty, hey, look at this. You think this will work? And I just think that he's a football guy. He's from a football family. I'm really excited about the opportunity for him to kind of change the narrative that people have on him as kind of an unsuccessful coach, because I think he's a fantastic coach. I think he's going to have the opportunity to prove a lot of people wrong on the biggest stage in New York.
All right, Amani, you're a Michigan man, and you Michigan men always mention that you're from Michigan, but how do you think it's going to work with Brady in Tampa Bay?
I'm really excited with that. I mean, this is a guy that thrives on, people doubting him. He got drafted 199th. While he was at Michigan, Drew Henson kept going in the games, and Lloyd Carr wanted to start Drew Henson because he was a local Michigan guy. He'd start Drew Henson. Drew Henson would mess the game up. They'd throw in Tom Brady. He'd fix the game for him, and they'd end up winning. I'm a big fan of Tom Brady. I really like, all the success that he's had. And when you have so much success, 6 championships, all that, what you need is another challenge. And that's exactly what he has down in Tampa Bay. A lot of people are doubting him. And, I think he can he could show the Patriots organization who didn't respect him over the last 4 or 5 years when he kept trying to get a new contract, and they kept pushing it right back to him and saying, no, we're not interested in extending you. He can show them that he has a lot more left in the tank, which I'm excited to see what's going to happen down there. And then bringing Gronk down there as well, it's going to be, there's a lot of storylines going into this next season throughout the entire NFL that are going to be great. Hopefully it gets off on time, and hopefully that we have an entire season. But it's going to be, I can't wait to watch that one play itself out.
All right, Amani, we'll leave it there. Hey, best of luck with your kindergartner, okay?
Yeah, I might get fired. My new kindergarten job.